Alright. Welcome to Conspiracy Corner Podcast, everyone. This is Abe, your host. It is October 16th, 2025. That is Q Lazarus. Goodbye, horses. I'd fuck me. If you know what I'm talking about, you know what I'm talking about. If you know, you know. So I got up about 11-ish, maybe almost noon, trying out Foster's Premium for the first time. I've never had one. I've always had Classic. I've never seen this one. So, tastes a little bit different than Foster's, but I don't know. I like Foster's. So, I got today off. I asked off because I'm going to a book signing, aka kind of like a lecture from his name is Mason Smith. He wrote a book called Paranormal Kentucky, and we have a Joseph Beth bookstores in the town next to us. So that's what I'm doing today. That's at like 7 o'clock tonight. I'll be going to that. But I'm off for the rest of the day. Yard work is done. I might do a couple chores here and there, play some video games. I'm currently playing The Hobbit. I'm in the Elven castle, trying to save the dwarves. If you know anything about Lord of the Rings or The Hobbit, it's actually a really good game. It's a Zelda clone. I'm going to review it for the channel. So, I was looking into this Mason Smith guy. First of all, I'm going to wear my Conspiracy Corner shirt when I go. And I'm going to give him a business card. Try to set up an interview. Obviously, I'm going to buy a book, you know. I'm not just going to go in there, throw a card at him and leave. But, I'm going to try to give him a card and, you know, see if he wants to do an interview. Because it sounds like he's a Kentucky native. He's writing a book called Paranormal Kentucky. I'm not familiar with his work. And it's with a woman named Mary Mitchell. I'm not sure if she'll be there or not. But yeah, it'd be fun to go and listen to some ghost/UFO stories. So I was trying to look this guy up. And I was going to do a whole episode, just kind of like a deep dive on him, so we can like see what type of research he's done, since it falls into the category of paranormal ufology, which is stuff that I cover. But there's not a lot out there on him. So here's the cover of his book. It looks pretty dope. And I am going to pick one up, like I said. Maybe he'll sign it or something for me. Because it'd be cool if there's all sorts of accounts of like ufology, paranormal stuff in this book. I'm gonna use it for the channel, you know. Kind of like my older style of like reading and commenting on like paranormal stories and stuff. But so I was trying to look this guy up and find like maybe do like a deep dive episode, but there's really not that much out there about him. So I don't know, maybe he's newer to the ufology paranormal community, or he's just not like a really big name within that community, which is not bashing him, you know. I've been around for a decade and nobody knows who the fuck I am, you know. I've Googled myself just to see if I even pop up, you know. But I found like a decent amount of what this book is about. So let's look into it. So Paranormal Kentucky, an uncommon wealth of close encounters with aliens, ghosts, and cryptids. So that's what it covers, and all three of those things are covered in this book, Paranormal Kentucky, written by Marie Mitchell and Mason Smith. Encounters with Wolfman, aka Dogman, Goatman, which I do know there's a Goatman's Bridge in Louisville, Kentucky. Me and Sammy have actually been to it. I did a episode covering the topic of it. It's called Popelick Goatman. Go check that episode out. If you're on Spotify, I'll put it in the related episodes below. Me and Sammy actually went out to that bridge and documented it, and we filmed going out there, so you can go check that video out. But I also did a podcast on it before we went. And Goatman, an Air National Guard captain who tragically lost his life in pursuit of a peculiar UFO. So a UFO actually killed a dude, which is rare. The Goblin Incident of 1955. Now, what he's talking about there is the Hopkinsville Goblins. Me and Sammy have also been there. It's pretty fucking cool. They have a museum. They made a flying saucer and put it like in a field around the area where this happened. And basically it was like a bunch of, we'll have to cover it one day on the channel. It's an interesting story. But a bunch of hillbillies out in the middle of, the boonies out here in Kentucky were drinking moonshine, and supposedly a flying saucer landed, and then all these little goblin creatures came out, kind of like gremlins, and started invading their cabin, and they just started having a shootout. Like, I'm talking like shotguns. Everybody had a shotgun just blasting through their own windows trying to shoot these things. It's a crazy fucking story, and a cool place to visit if you're interested in that. Hauntings at Waverly Hills Sanatorium, which me and Sammy plan on going to that. It's a sanatorium. A bunch of people died there. It's super haunted. It's here in Kentucky. Spanning these and other out of this world topics, I actually covered Waverly Hills Sanatorium before on this channel. I don't remember the episode name though. Paranormal Kentucky is an investigation into more than 20 cases. So I'm definitely going to pick up this book, for one, to support Mason, but also 20 different accounts. I mean, that's 20 episodes right there. Featured in this, featuring iconic cryptids like Bigfoot and Mothman, which you guys know we've covered Mothman a bunch on this channel. I love Mothman. Which are rumored to lurk elsewhere in Appalachia and the continental U.S. and are also explored. Co-authors Marie Mitchell and Mason Smith approach each case with nuance and offer in-depth details from multiple perspectives, providing rational explanations alongside the quote-unquote true believer claims and mysteries that remain. In addition to field investigations and witness interviews, the duo shares stories of their own experiences with high strangeness. So they've had their own experiences, which is cool. Hopefully they'll talk about that tonight. Or it's in the book, Mitchell and Smith offer wry but sympathetic accounts, placing Kentucky history and folklore at the forefront of their work. Paranormal Kentucky reminds us that perhaps not everything is as it seems, and that fact can often be found in fiction. By the way, I got to give a proper shout out. Kentucky Hollywood, aka Jason Donahue. Go check that interview out I did with him. He's a horror actor. Me and him keep in touch because he literally works right up the road. He's a local, and a fellow content creator. He has a travel log channel about traveling all over Kentucky and documenting it. He's the one who literally told me about this. He sent me like a picture like, hey, I'm going to this thing at Joseph Beth's, and I'm like, oh fuck, I want to go. So I asked off, and now I'm going, so he'll probably be there. Yeah, so shout outs to him, like, for hooking me up. This is why I say, man, you got to do interviews if you're going to do a podcast, man, because I still keep in touch with the people I've interviewed. Like, Miss McGillicuddy, Luke from Red Pill Paradigm, Jason Donahue, Matt Word. All these people that I've interviewed, I keep in touch with on a daily basis. And I've become friends with, like, all of them. Like, I consider these people my friends now. So, for one, I'm making friends. And two, like, if I had just interviewed Jason and was like, okay, and never talked to him again, I wouldn't have known about this. And now this lets me give a card to Mason and possibly get another future interview. And I get to have fun and go listen to a UFO paranormal lecture, So, you got to put boots on the ground, is what I'm saying. A little inside baseball. So, the contents. We won't really... That's just a table of contents of what the book is. Well, we can look into it to see, honestly, what's in there. Who you going to call? Ghost hunting in Kentucky. UFOs. Kentuckians battle against wartime fear. And this is what's in the book, Paranormal Kentucky. I'm closing on it. War hero dies chasing a UFO over central Kentucky. So we're going to have to cover that one. That's why I'm buying this book. We're going to have to cover that one on the channel, dude, because that's crazy that a UFO actually killed a dude in Kentucky. Alien attack. A Christian County farm family shoots at little men from UFO. I'm guessing that's the Hopkinsville Goblins. The longest road home. 3 Casey County women reportedly abducted by aliens. All aboard. Did an Eastern Kentucky coal train actually collide with a UFO? That's fucking crazy. A coal train smashed into a UFO. The never-ending struggle. Ghost soldiers still fighting Perryville Civil War battlefield. Dude, I'm totally getting this book. I used to live on Battlefield Road, and I've covered on this channel ghost stories of Perryville Battlefield. Actually, speak of the devil in that Jason Donahue interview. No, this was the Red Pill Paradigm interview. I spoke about some of the weird shit that was going on in the haunted house that I lived in on Perryville Battlefield. Which it used to be haunted, but me and my brother exorcised it. Searching for wraiths in all the wrong places. A Battle of Richmond and Camp Nelson. I've been to Camp Nelson. Civil War casualties. Spirits of soldiers who occupy Octagon Hall in Franklin. I've seen... Okay, that's another place, dude. Franklin, Kentucky, Octagon Hall. I've seen... Me and Sammy have looked it up when we first heard about it. And they do ghost tours. I want to go. It looks cool. And it's called Octagon Hall because the building is literally shaped like an octagon. Mary Todd Lincoln, Lexington's grief-stricken former First Lady, seeks solace in seances, haunted historic homes and places, which... Miss Lincoln and Mr. Lincoln were both spiritualists. She was really big into it, like after he died and stuff. It's kind of sad, and I've always been interested. Lincoln and Kennedy are my 2 favorite presidents. Yeah, her whole story's sad. Lincoln's story's sad too, but so we'll do an episode on that, definitely. The Hand on the Railing, Cassius Clay, The Lion of Whitehall Still Roars. So the ghost of Muhammad Ali. The Gray Lady, Frankfurt's Liberty Hall remains home at a helpful aunt. Still hanging around Outlaw Jesse James, the Blue Lady, and Uncle Fred. Dark Tourism, which we've covered. We did 2 episodes. The Haunted West, The Haunted Wild West, and Wild West Ghost Towns. We did 2 of them. I'll try to link it below if I can find them. Just go check out my library, dude. I love the whole Wild West thing and ghost stories of the Wild West. It's neat. So, Dark Tourism. How haunted is the Anderson Hotel? And do ghost and bourbon mix at the Buffalo Trace Distillery? I'm not sure if I've been to that distillery. Me and Sammy have been to a bunch, but I'm not sure if we hit Buffalo Trace yet. I didn't know it was haunted. The search for Appalachian ghost in mountains and coal fields. The tragic tale of Meade County, Battletown witch who was burned alive. Meade County, okay. I gotta check that shit out. A witch who was burned alive. Bigfoot Boogie. Is there really a Sasquatch in these Kentucky woods? Would love to know where that is, because I'll go Bigfoot hunting out there. I mean, me and Sammy have already went dogman hunting. Witnesses claim a vicious man-wolf stalks land between the lakes. That's where we went. Speak of the devil. Yeah, that's crazy shit right there. Devious goat man lures victim onto an active Louisville train trestle. That's the one I told you about, the Pope Lick goat man, where me and Sammy investigated and I did a podcast on it. Water monsters of Harrington Lake. Me and Sammy did an investigation at Harrington Lake too, dude. Go check that video out. It's fucking nuts. I've been to a bunch of these places. There's supposedly a pig-faced sea serpent who lives in Harrington Lake. Now, me and Sammy didn't see anything, but it's fun to go check it out. And I didn't grow up, but I mean, I lived for 3 or 4 years off of Ashley Camp, which is right down the road from Harrington Lake. Like, you can walk to it. It's like a 15-minute walk, 10-minute walk, you know. We used to go down there all the time and smoke weed. And me and Dina, my ex-wife, we were like puppies, man. We were young, and we'd go out there and fuck, you know. In our 91 Grand Marquis. That was one of our fucking spots, was near the lake. Let's see. Where was I at? Bigfoot Boogie. Harrington Lake. Mothman and Demon Leaper. I don't know what a Demon Leaper is. That sounds creepy. Around Kentucky ending. So, Mothman supposedly has been sighted in Kentucky. I would love to know where. The truth is out there somewhere. Epilogue, The Little Red Hen. I'm definitely getting this fucking book. This is fucking awesome. I can't wait. So let's learn a little bit about the authors. So, Marie Mitchell and Mason Smith enjoy tracking cryptids, searching for little green men, and chasing ghosts around the Commonwealth. However, these former journalists, so they have journalistic background, that's cool, and retired Eastern Kentucky University professors. Oh, damn, they're both professors. Okay. I'm guessing, like, dude, while they were teaching, they had to keep this shit on the down low. As far as, like, being interested in cryptids, ufology, paranormal, because they would have, like, been like, no, you are not educating our young adults, you know, here. Like, no, if you believe in that craziness. I'm guessing they had to keep that shit on the DL. Have never been haunted by spirits themselves. They've never actually seen Bigfoot, nor have they ever been abducted by aliens, but they're aware of. But they are fascinated by eyewitness accounts from people who believe they have experienced such phenomena. That's weird, though. Didn't they say earlier that they experienced high strangeness? And now it's saying that they've never had... I don't know if this is just a misprint or... Sorry, not like calling them out or nothing, but it's interesting. What the couple found through their travels and research was too entertaining to keep to themselves, so they invite you to join them on this journey into Kentucky's paranormal activity. So let's see. Here's some praise for the book. Set against the backdrop of a dark and gloomy night, Paranormal Kentucky provides a unique perspective on events and happenings that have very mysterious circumstances. Mitchell and Smith take a journalistic approach, combining entertaining stories with interesting state history, research, and commentary on Kentucky culture. This book will make readers want to sit around a campfire and share haunting tall tales on a chilly evening. So that's from a Blair Thomas Hess. What would you do if you spotted UFO and aliens? How would you react to a Sasquatch or a spirited gray lady? See, I'm curious about that too, because there's a whole chapter apparently on gray lady. I've covered throughout the years ladies in white. It's a very big archetype within the paranormal community, and you hear it about spectral ladies in white all over the world, whether it's the Banshee, La Llorona, Bermuda Triangle. There's a lady in white scene out there. It's weird how, like, it's like an archetype. Like, you'll see ladies in white, specters, all over the fucking world. We've covered her tons of times on this channel. It's very common. Where do you stand when it comes to credible... But I've never heard of a gray lady. That was the point I was making. I've never heard of a gray lady, a lady in gray. Where do you stand when it comes to credible witnesses recounting incredible events? Paranormal Kentucky will certainly help you define your stance and provide you with intriguing cocktail conversation and eerie tales to tell. Mitchell and Smith peered into dark corners, asked questions, and listened to the answers. The result is a balanced perspective, replete with pop culture references to the X-Files, Star Trek, and Spider-Man on 75 years of strange incidents from all around Kentucky. So yeah, dude, I'm looking forward to it, man. This is gonna be fucking cool. So here's a picture of what he looks like. Here's the... There you go. The address. So honestly, dude, if you want to go meet me out there, if you live locally and you're a listener, it is 7 o'clock tonight. Lexington Green, 161 Lexington Green Circle, Lexington, Kentucky, 40503. I'll be there. So it'd be kind of like you get to go meet him, but I mean, I would love to meet a listener if you are a listener and you live locally, because I do pass out like flyers, and I have a lot of local listeners, so I'll be there. We can meet up, and it's a public place, so I don't have to worry about you like shanking me or assassinating me like Charlie Kirk. I'm just fucking around. It's dark, but it is a genuine concern, though, you know. So let's hear more about the event that's happening tonight that I'm going to. Join us for Mason Smith discussing and signing Paranormal Kentucky. Our optional RSVP. I'm just going to show up, but not required to attend the events. Encounters with Wolfman and Goatman. Okay, this is literally the same shit we read before. Oh, cool. So I found a free preview. So we're going to kind of read a little bit. This is the introduction. Ghost hunting in Kentucky. We wanted to start this book with a crash of thunder. A crescendo of ominous music. Dun, dun, dun. And a ghostly whisper. Shh. To telegraph that we had arrived at Waverly Hills Sanatorium, one of the most haunted locations in Kentucky, on a dark and stormy night. What better phrase than Edward Bulwer Lytton's to open a book about paranormal investigations? But that would be a cliche and inaccurate. Also, it's hard to produce sound effects in a book. Well, I just did it. But this is a podcast, you know. We actually arrived at Waverly Hills on a mile. I do one day, man. I'm gonna get a fucking soundboard and fucking, or like a keyboard, something, and that way I could do like thunder strikes, you know. Doo, 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 doo. I'm doing it, man. I don't care if people think it's cheesy. I think it'd be awesome, man. We're gonna turn this into Pee Wee's Playhouse. We actually arrived at Waverly Hills on a mild evening in late September 2023, without even a full moon to provide a chilling effect. But judging from the outward appearance of this former tuberculosis hospital in Louisville, you'd think Dr. Frankenstein was upstairs, tinkering with his monster. The building looks like it could be teeming with ghosts, ghouls, and elemental spirits, or at least four-legged vermin of one kind or another. Yet we walked up the drive unmolested to reach the back entrance of the sanatorium. The dilapidated building stands on a steep hill, only a mile or so from Dixie Highway, US 60, near Pleasure Ridge Park, west of Chivalry. We couldn't hear the highway traffic from the hilltop. In fact, we couldn't hear much of anything. Let me read some more. So sadly, the preview is like glitching out a little bit, but the structure in front of us, which had fallen into disrepair after being abandoned decades ago, has been investigated countless times by private paranormal investigators and TV crews. Looking for a quick Halloween feature story, they have found a smorgasbord of shadows, sound, scurrying animals, echoes, and dripping water. Not to mention the pops, cracks, sighs, and groans emitted by old buildings due to changes in temperature and wind pressure. The building's settling, you know. Such groups have also captured what they claim are entities flitting about the place. Maybe that's because a haunted house is what they hope to find. Or perhaps the place really is inhabited by spirits. Who knows? Beautiful writing, by the way. I definitely feel immersed, and this is just the introduction, but like the way, man, like it's poetry, man. It's beautiful. In 2015, the Waverly Hills Historical Society signed a 99-year lease and now arranges ghost tours and other events at the venue. After showing our tickets, we entered a dimly lit waiting room, formerly the sanatorium's dining area, and joined nearly 100 other ghost hunter wannabes awaiting our respective tour guides. Thankfully, we were wearing jackets, as the gaping windows facing south have never been glassed in. The idea being to give tuberculosis patients the maximum amount of fresh air and sunshine, a common treatment for this often deadly lung disease, along with common sense practices such as resting and eating a healthy diet. Only in extreme cases did patients undergo surgery to remove ribs to ease their breathing. Dang, that's heavy. Oh, you need help breathing? We'll take a couple of those ribs out. That's how, dude, medical science back then was so fucking archaic. And you know that back then it was like brutal. Like they would have like, hopefully they put the people down like under. They would have had to cut you open and then probably a handsaw and fucking sawing your ribs off, dude. Like, it's so fucking dark, dude. In 2015, the Waverly Hills Historical Society signed before invention of antibiotics, many TB patients faced a slow, painful death. Based on death certificate evidence, paranormal researcher Troy Taylor estimates that as many as 6,000 patients died at Waverly Hills from 1910 to 1961. Some of them already had advanced cases of TB before they arrived, as the quote-unquote white plague, I've never heard it called that, but okay, black plague, white plague, gotcha, was rapidly spreading across Jefferson County. These might be the lost souls who supposedly walk the dark and silent wards today. However, it's important to note that some patients left the facility cured, and those who didn't at least enjoy regular meals, movie nights, and art classes they couldn't have afforded otherwise. I don't know, man. So there's a little sneak peek of the book, a little bit about the author. Um, yeah, this is the event that I'm going to at Joseph Beth's tonight at 7. So I'm planning on having a fucking blast. I'm gonna give him a card, offer an interview, obviously. Um, so yes, I'm having fun, but I'm doing a little footwork. Um, if you're in the area and you're a local listener, because I do have quite a few local listeners from passing out flyers and cards, go up there tonight, man, and meet me. And if if you're cool and you got some cool stories, hell, I'll interview you for the podcast. Um, but I'll hang out with Jason. I know he's going, so I'll talk to him and hang out with him. I might even see if I'm hungry. I might be like, hey man, let's get a slice of pizza or something afterwards. Maybe we'll go to Smashing Tomatoes or something. I love y'all. Please like, share, and subscribe, and I will let you know in a future podcast what I thought about the whole ordeal. I'm sure it'll be fun.